Hey guys, it's David here, and today I'm going to be doing a special Ordering Chaos video where I show the new dungeon, Sailen the Palace, on Legendary mode. And right here at the beginning I'm just showing my T2, and I got the robe and the hood, and actually upgraded the hood, so I'm now at 2 out of 4 for that, but I'm going to be using 6 out of 6 for this run. And so we entered the palace, and we're running with a DPS warrior, a tank, and an archer, and probably you're going to want to have at least one person who has range attacks. And the reason for that is the second boss actually requires that. So two classes that have range attacks are obviously archers and mages, so you have to have at least one of those in your team, and that's the easiest way because it's required for the second boss. So right here we're just doing regular mobs, and these look a lot like the mobs from Sailen, the lower city, but they have different names. And Prayer of Pure Faith for monks was actually nerfed or bugged, we're not really sure yet, but it doesn't reduce damage. So basically you have to try to make sure that the tank's health is up almost all the way before you pray, because it's not going to do that much effect. So we face these mobs here, and there's actually a shortcut. There's actually a few shortcuts, and the first one is where you jump through this so-called poisonous water, and you're able to get across this little bridge and skip a whole bunch of mobs right there. And on the right side there's Minotaurs, on the left side there's like scorpions, and for some reason the ranger died here because sometimes the boss one-shots them, but I was able to res him, so it wasn't that much of a deal. And so we went to the first boss, which is named Satirist, and this boss I think is the easiest of the three once you have the strategy down, because he doesn't have too much health and he doesn't do too much damage. But basically the whole team has to DPS him until he does this spell, which summons 2 different add-ons, and basically you guys have to kill those as fast as you can. The DPS, probably your ranger, will be able to deal with one on his own, but the tank will need help, so even I have to go and help kill the add-on so I can get it done faster, because if you don't kill it in time, then the boss will do one of 3 different attacks: AoE, health boost, or a shield. And there's 3 different kinds. I think they're red, blue, and green. But basically just kill those as fast as you can, and it's really best if you kill those. And for the monk, you just have to try to use Divine Light when someone gets a 3000 hit from the boss, which come at different times, and just rapid heal the tank, and you should be good to go. You don't really have to use prayer too much. The boss dropped a ranger hood, and I started running the wrong way. Sometimes you get confused, but we went back, and now we had to deal with a patrol mob. And you can actually skip this. I didn't know this when I was recording this, but you can actually skip this and just wait for the patrol and then walk past. But we killed these mobs here. They are not too hard. And what side did we go on? We went right. So you can either go left or right, it does not matter. There's only 2 different mobs here that you have to kill, and there's actually a mob later that you'll kill, and you'll see that in a few minutes. So you kill this mob first, and then you kill another mob. And this mob probably requires prayer because there's quite a few of the mobs right there, so just make sure that you're praying. And archer and tank and DPS, just kill them. Then here are the Minotaurs, and I had to wait for my prayer cooldown for a second, but you just have to use prayer as soon as you fight them, because they do this kind of cyclone slash thing, like the Executioner in Naswa's prison. So you have to try to kill them as fast as you can, and I lagged a little, but we were able to kill them. And you just walk over to the boss area. Now this boss is probably the hardest for strategy. So what I do is I stand back, and the tank pulls the boss to the middle. The DPS warrior is fighting him too, and the boss does like 3000 crits, so if you're the monk you have to be prepared with Divine Light and rapid healing. And he summons this little bubble. Now when he summons the bubble, the whole team has to go over there, the tank has to kite him, and as soon as you get there, monk has to pray. And as soon as you get there, also the archer has to kill the ball because it gives you guys health. So you all have to go over there, and then tank has to kite the boss for a little. He can kite him back to the middle. Usually he gets out of his enraged phase. And you just have to keep doing that, rinse and repeat. Make sure that when he does 3,000 crits that you, as the monk, you heal the team as fast as you can, and make sure that the tank's health is always up right before you get to the ball, and make sure that it's up when he's kiting him. And once you have that strategy down, the boss is fairly simple. Then you just DPS at the end, and I think there's 5 balls that appear always. No matter how much DPS you have, you always have 5 different balls. I know, it sounds funny, but he dropped some crap monk gloves, which I don't need. And right here, you can actually skip the mob there, but my team was a noob team. Just kidding. So we went through this mob here, and if you look, we're at the map, we're at the encroached well, and once you kill the first and second boss, it starts glowing. And then all you have to do is jump in the glowing pool, and you will be teleported to the second part of the palace, and this is where the final boss will be. So you have to do an escort quest, and our tank actually lost battery, so we had to pause for a second and find a new tank. But once we did, we just started the little quest thing. It's not really a quest, just following the NPC, and 3 different sets of mobs appear. I think it's earth, water, and fire. And like the dialogue is really bad for this dungeon, so no one knows what the hell he's talking about. Like if you die in the second boss, it says Sailen is the sacred cow. What the fuck? Okay, so you just have to kill these mobs here. For the Minotaurs, of course, you have to pray, and this is the last Minotaur. There's only one, thank God, because there's other mobs too. But you just follow this path, and once you kill the 3 different mobs, then you will get to my favorite part of the entire dungeon, which is the Chamber of Secrets. Yes, a Harry Potter reference, because literally it's a snake head and you get to walk inside, and this part is so cool. I love how Game Off designed this. So basically you have to wait for him to open the little gate thing, and also if the NPC dies, you're not screwed, because you will see him at the bottom. It'll be his soul, and he gives different buffs, which I'll show in a second. But basically you just run down the staircase, and be careful not to fall. But if you do fall, make sure that you land in the water. A lot of people like to test themselves and see if they can land in the water. And if they die, then Monk can just res, but it's really fun. So then you get to the final boss area, and right here, usually you're gonna want to use the water buff. So when you use the water buff, then you will be able to get more health on the boss. And this boss is actually not too hard at all. All you have to do is heal the tank. Monk has to heal the tank, and it's pretty easy. The problem is that he has a lot of health, and at the end he does a lot of crit, so make sure that your tank has guardian stance. And so basically everyone on the team just DPS's the boss. The water buff is helpful. Use Ring of Healing if you want to, and also there's a spell called Free Will, which you get in Greenmont now, and it's the reward for a quest, and Free Will gets rid of all stuns. So when the boss stuns you and the tank's health is low, use Free Will as fast as you can, and use Divine Light on the tank. Now if Divine Light did not exist, then I would totally not be able to heal this. I don't think any monk would be able to, because Divine Light is definitely needed for the tank's health. And if anyone on the team dies, which they didn't here, then Ranger or the other DPS has to kite the boss. But basically all you do is just keep the tank's health up. There's not much strategy to this. At the end, tank has to use Guardian Stance and Courage to keep his health up as much as he can. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And also tank should be using sword and shield this entire dungeon. That's probably one of the most important things because he will not have enough health. But yeah, so we killed the boss at the very end, and Tank almost died, but I was able to heal him in time. So that's it for the Sailen the Palace legendary run. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you found this helpful and informative. So right here I'm just like bowing and showing off my new T2 gear, even if I haven't made the robe epic yet, but I will soon. I will be making more Ordering Chaos videos about this update and maybe about this dungeon if there's new strategies, because this dungeon may get easier with new strategies and new gear in the future, so I guess